Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, it's a little muggy, but it's pleasant. It's in the evening, and I spent the day trying to write, but I also had some interviews about the Georgia investigation, what I think it means, and stuff like that. I think it's a good sign that we have the prosecutor in Georgia looking at what Trump and company did to try to mislead the legislature and the people and the courts and to steal votes so that Trump would win by one vote more than the margin by which Biden beat him. On its face, that sounds like a crime. And in fact, in truth, these facts, which are not hypothetical, would suggest that he'd interfered with an election, he'd made false statements. It was a federal election, although this is a state investigation looking at it, and that there was coercion, and there may even be racketeering violations. That is, that the number of people that were involved in a series of crimes, as I've suggested, and so we look at all of them. So on July the 5th, a judge signed subpoenas for out-of-state witnesses, including Lindsey Graham, a congressman, and the former great mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. And then several other people who were involved either in the conversation with Trump when he was leaning on Raffensperger, who's the Secretary of State, and he also apparently leaned on the governor, Kemp, and the governor is going to appear before the grand jury by video, and the Secretary of State has appeared by subpoena, as I understand it. And so this grand jury subpoena is returnable on the 12th of July. Now, it is very possible that will get delayed for a variety of reasons. And some of them might be challenges, but some of these challenges will be wiped away. And if, say, Rudy, for example, didn't appear at all and didn't interpose a challenge like the Fifth Amendment privilege or attorney-client privilege, then he could be held in contempt and actually sit in jail until he freed himself by complying with the subpoena. But in a normal case, a person who is obviously a subject of the investigation is a person who takes the Fifth Amendment. Now, among people who are very well-known, celebrities and very often politicians, they just talk. Now, as I'm saying this, since I've spoken about this issue earlier today, I understand Lindsey Graham has said he's going to fight it all the way. Well, good for him. You might say, are they going to get away with it if they do that? There are other witnesses to these things. And so often in the case, the person who we believe and are certain in our soul committed the crime is not a person who ends up testifying, although it can happen. It's more likely the other people in the room testify. And then what happened in Georgia, I think because they were getting close to January the 6th and they were desperate, they overreached a great deal. And so you had Giuliani with assistants appearing before the state legislature making false statements. You had Eastman, who came up with this cockamamie idea on how to do it, telling the legislature, oh, if you don't do this, not only are you missing your obligation under the law, you have a duty to do this, So it's a pretty flagrant objection to normal process, meaning a democratic process, and it's more like a third world dictatorship, a banana republic. And that would be obvious to a jury in Fulton County if we get to that. So how can we go wrong? Well, we've been here before, in the sense that in New York, we thought D.A. Vance had cemented the case when he said, yes, we should go forward with prosecuting Mr. Trump on his loan scandal, which is and taxes, which is to say the same property was either evaluated upwards to get debt and downward for purposes of taxes. And it was a pretty simple approach. But Bragg, who succeeded Vance, walked away from it. So the question is, can we expect Georgia to stay the course? Well, Georgia and the prosecutor have been working this problem, and they have called witnesses to the grand jury, and they're summoning these others now. And so it's very possible they will go forward. And I suppose since this grand jury, by law, cannot indict, they may give a report. And then the question will be, will we go forward with that report? Now, don't fool yourself. The grand jury isn't doing the report. The prosecutor is. Grand juries are a property of the prosecutor. They are controlled by the prosecutor. There is language about how a grand jury is a shield to allow the person investigated to be anonymous, but it's also a sword. Well, in most of our experience as a prosecutor or defense counsel or even a casual observer, grand juries are brutal. They have enormous power, and it can be abused. And in this case, if it is abused, we're going to hear about it. And it makes me think, what I'd like to believe is that the prosecutor in Fulton County, she decided to do it this way so that she would be beyond reproach if she indicted a president of the United States when everybody else was sitting in their office pondering whether or not they could do such a dramatic thing as actually follow the law and chase after those people who almost brought down our government. So we have to beware the recurrence of a Vance-like failure. That is to say, though crimes exist, they're not prosecuted. But right now, we should take some heart from what she's doing. And I think that the January 6th committee and her efforts, and perhaps Justice Department looking at these phony electors who were created to help carry off Eastman's BS approach to having the electors cause a problem for the certification on January the 6th. But they didn't, because we knew it was phony, and Pence did show up and do what he had to do, even though some tried to lure him away from the Capitol. Maybe this is more than you care to know, but it's the first, to my mind, encouraging possibility. So we watch it with reservation. We hope that this is the real deal because we need it. And we hope that elements of the Justice Department that are probably resisting the foot dragging of the Attorney General are finding ways within the bureaucrats to go forward with an investigation. It remains to be seen. You may think I'm a hopeless romantic, but my view is, in a very difficult situation, you kind of look for the light and you go to it. I want to say it was Helen Keller that said that she looked at the light because there was no shadow in the light. So that's what we kind of have to do. Look for, accentuate the positive, decentuate the negative, watch out for Mr. In Between. I used to say this occasionally to my executive assistant. She said, I got the song all wrong. Well, I like the sentiment even if I got the song wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is what my parents were singing. So have a good day. It's gorgeous out here, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.